Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And good evening, one and all. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Now, if you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. For all the programming on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. And for the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV, www.simultv.com. My guest this hour, X-Zone Nation, is Ken Pfeifer, and Ken is the State Director for Vermont and Rhode Island, plus the Assistant State Director for MUFON, New Jersey. For MUFON International, he is the Director for Portugal, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Israel, China, Mongolia, and Brazil. He's the publisher and editor for worldufophotos.org, World UFO Photos and News.org, and he is a former Air Force Desert Storm veteran and private pilot. He's investigated over 1,100 cases and 7 UFO sightings and a strange close encounter at Area 51. And like I said, for more information on Ken, his personal website is kenpfeiferdiscoveries.com. And Ken, welcome back to the X-Zone. How are things in the world of UFOs?
Pretty good. We're a little busy right now, getting a lot of photos, and I just wanted to say it's an honor to be on the X-Zone. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, we've been pretty busy. A lot of cases coming up. Seems that more people are prone to report these things. In the old days, people would think you were crazy if you said you saw a UFO, but it seems to be the in thing to do these days, especially today, and a lot more people's coming forward and telling us what they saw.
Why do you think that is, Ken?
Well, I believe possibly the news media. Maybe I think with this New York Times article last year about the Navy pilots seeing UFOs, and a lot of especially with the New York Times. I mean, that's a lot of credibility right there, and I think things like that is what may possibly be turning people around. Admitting that they've seen these things.
All right, but what the New York Times, as well as the Navy, has never said is that it was a UFO of an extraterrestrial source. All they're saying it's an unidentified aerial phenomenon. So how do people make the leap from seeing something that they just don't understand what it is or they can't identify it to contacting MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, and filing a UFO investigation request or report?
Yeah. Well, I think just the fact that they're doing that, people are coming forward now and at least submitting reports of seeing strange things in the sky. I just think a lot more people are starting to come around and realize that there possibly is something out there that, of course, we don't know what it is, but I feel the military knows what it is.
Right.
I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of documented case files with the military that proves that these things are there.
But once again, these things are there. Do we know what these things are?
Well, in my eyes, they could only be alien craft, from other planets. I'm sure of that. Of course, I don't have any proof. I have a few sightings myself, and with the research and, and the materials and things that I've read, and also, with my worldufophotos.org website with thousands of photos on there. I mean, even if 1% of the photos on my 12,000 photo website is real, then, that's saying something.
Okay, so besides the New York Times reporting of the alleged Tic Tac, what are some of the latest UFO cases that have been coming to your attention, Ken?
Well, we have. I have an article here from it's a Navy article, as a matter of fact, and there's a lot more cases coming out. But I just wanted to go over this one here that I have. It's very interesting. Basically, what the Navy is doing is they're changing their procedures about reporting these crafts. And let me bring that up here real quick.
I sure can. The next donation, if you'd like to find out more about Ken and his photographs, here's a couple of websites: worldufophotos.org, worldufophotosannews.org. Let me see. And then Ken's personal website is kenpfeiferdiscoveries.com. Do you have the article up yet, Ken?
Yes. It says here, according to the Navy statement in Politico, of course, that's the magazine that reports a lot of things going on in Washington, D.C., it says here the new guidelines would formalize a process for reporting unusual findings like the sightings of unexplained aircraft. The Navy is updating and formalizing a process by which reports of any such suspected sightings can be made to authorities, says the statement. And it says a 2017 report from New York Times found that the Pentagon dedicated $22 million to an office called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and that investigates reports of unidentified flying objects. So the office was officially shut down in 2012. The New Yorker Times reported, but officials continue to investigate sightings while performing their other duties. And the topic studied by AATIP included invisible cloaking, wormholes, and the manipulation of extra dimensions. A Freedom of Information request later revealed that a retired Pentagon official who recently ran that office told Politico that personnel aren't encouraged to report sightings. If you are in a busy airport and see something, you are supposed to say something. With our military members, it's kind of the opposite. If you see something, don't say something. So apparently enough incidents have occurred in various military-controlled ranges and designated airspaces in recent years to prompt the military officials to start asking about the claims. And Navy officials and pilots have responded with formal briefings. So, it just goes to show that the Navy is finally, well, I feel that the military, especially in the Navy, have been investigating these sightings since day one. I mean, it'd be crazy not to.
But why is it just the Navy that's coming out with this instead of the Air Force? Because wouldn't the Air Force have more clout when it comes to investigating something in the air than the Navy would?
You would think so. I think that the Air Force does have something very similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they, from what I understand, they haven't published anything to that fact. But as we all know, they're investigating these things, and eventually they'll come out and admit it. I feel.
So, do you think disclosure is at hand?
Yes, I hate to say it, quite frankly, and I've spoken about this before. I hope disclosure never happens because I don't think people will be able to handle disclosure. You hear about all these facts and statistics and polls and everything on the news and UFO organizations about people who believe in UFOs and. Mm-hmm. Quite frankly, I feel that the UFO community is a very small community. I would say maybe 1% of the population are people like myself who actually believe that these things exist. And, that's such a low. I mean, when disclosure comes out and the president apparently comes on and says, hey, guys, these things are flying around in our airspace and we can't do anything about it. I think at that point in time, the other 99% of the people, they just wouldn't be able to handle it.
But what would happen, Ken, if the president came out and said, listen, all these UFOs that you've been talking about over the years, here are the real facts. And he comes out with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, proving that they're not extraterrestrial, that they are in fact known military projects that have been sanctioned by the Air Force, the Navy, the Department of National Defense, and that there's no ET connection whatsoever. What happens then?
Well, basically the same thing that's happening right now on CNN and all the other news agencies. They'll say probably say it's a big lie, and quite frankly, I think everyone would see through that.
But what happens if
these alien craft, these UFOs, they've been around for hundreds of years.
But what happens, Ken, if it's the truth?
Well, it would be the truth, but I just don't think people would. I don't know if they would really believe it or not, but again, saying that people that would believe it, I don't think that they would be able to handle the truth. I think the stock markets would crash, and
all right, Ken,
people would be jumping out of windows.
Ken, stand by. We've got to take our break. And Exonation, if you'd like to find out more about our guest this hour, when we come back from this break, we'll give you some websites that you can go and check out. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Ken Pfeiffer's our special guest. And Ken and I will be back on the other side as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Shamanic healing is the key to personal empowerment. Why? All four levels of our being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, must be addressed for us to enjoy balanced, healthy, abundant lives. Yet there are few provisions for spiritual or energetic healing. Shamanism, found at the root of all cultures, is a very effective spiritual healing modality. To find quality shamanic healing you can trust, regardless of where you live, look no further than Find Your Path Home long-distance shamanic healing program. All Path Home long-distance healing practitioners have been trained and certified through Path Home Shamanic Art School. Change your life. Live abundantly. Schedule a long-distance shamanic healing session with Wilda Wieka or one of her quality practitioners today at findyourpathhome.com.
All right, Exonation, Ken Pfeiffer's our guest. Here's three websites: www.worldufophotos.org, then www.worldufophotosannews.org, and www.kenpfeiferdiscoveries.com. Ken, before we went to the last break, you were painting a scenario that, that people could not handle the truth if the ETs were real, if UFOs were from another planet, and this all came in disclosure. And you even said that you think the stock market would crash and that people would be jumping out of buildings.
Yes, I think religions would be in turmoil. Mm-hmm. I just think people, especially the people that's on the fence, and the people who think that this UFO phenomenon is a hoax. It's stupid. It can never happen. I think it's people like that. They're the ones who would just be. There would be panic. I think the first thing that everybody would do, if you want to make some money, invest in the gun manufacturers, because I think that's the first thing that people would do. I hate to say, is to go out and buy a gun.
Well, listen,
not
Ken,
that it would ever do any good, but at least you have that security of having a gun in your house because of these aliens. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that's what would happen.
Well, if these people, if they do exist, can travel across galaxies and universes to get here,
right?
Wouldn't having a gun be rather fruitless?
It would. It would be fruitless unless they want to use it on themselves. But that's another story.
Do you really think? Do you really think?
I feel. I think the people are so ignorant about the UFO phenomenon out there. They either don't watch the shows or they just don't want to know. I tell people I'm from MUFON, and I talk to many people, and I'll tell you what, 99 out of 100 people don't even know what MUFON is and what MUFON means. So that's telling me right there that there's large percentage of the population that are just out of the loop. They don't want to know. They don't care. But when the news comes that these things are real, I think it would be. I don't want to be around when it happens.
But Ken, don't you think that it is the norm that people really don't buy into the UFO phenomenon because there is so much hype and disinformation that is being spread by the UFO communities themselves, as well as these television shows?
Yeah. Well, no, that's true. I feel that. Well, Hollywood has made a
fortune.
I don't want to say a joke out of the whole subject, but some of it's really kind of hard to believe what they produce on some of these movies. But they really haven't helped the cause any. But then again, there are some movies out there that are very convincing. And quite frankly, I think the Tom Cruise movie War of the Worlds, I thought it was pretty incredible. But I think that kind of hit the nail on the head.
Well, that War of the Worlds was a remake of the.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I've seen the original War of the Worlds, and that was pretty.
Well,
that's when I was born in 1950, so I was basically raised with all of these monster movies and UFO movies, and these are the things that kind of piqued my interest over the years.
Right.
And it's just incredible what Hollywood has done with the special effects and everything else, but. Like the movie Signs with Mel Gibson. I thought that kind of hit the nail on the head right there with that movie.
I understand for those who want to believe there is no shaking their tree. I know that, and I can appreciate that. But what about the majority of the population who really doesn't buy into it?
Well, they don't want something else to worry about, I guess. I mean, when you really sit down and think about it, just thinking that there's possibly alien crafts flying all over the sky, they're buzzing aircrafts, they're buzzing military planes, are flying over ships. I mean, just the thought of aliens are in our skies would be enough to make anyone panicky. I guess it should give a lot of people a lot of fears to being alive on the earth, and I think people this is just their way of blocking it out of their head. They don't want to know, they don't want to see, and they don't care. So I think that's their way of dealing with it.
But what if they're right and you're wrong?
Well.
There is that possibility. It's a 50-50 chance.
Oh no, of course there is. I had my gun ready, so yeah, of course. Hey, from what I've seen and heard over the years, anything is possible.
But what have you seen that has convinced you, Ken?
Well, like I said, I've got 7 sightings myself. I had my first sighting in 1974. It was a metallic. Was a large glowing turquoise disc that flew over our car at about maybe 200 or 300 feet. And
wow!
And as a matter of fact, the next day, the Dufferin Woodbury Times they had an article about some policemen and some witnesses saw a UFO flying around the sky that night. So it's just things like that, and then some of the other sightings I've had that at least proves to me that there's. Of course, I'd be foolish to say I'm 100% convinced,
right.
But it's that's more than enough evidence for me to realize that there's something strange going on in his eyes.
Now you sent us 4 photographs that you want to talk about, and we're going to be putting them on the screen later on today. So tell us about those 4 photographs.
Well, this came up last year. This was October of 2018. Apparently someone posted this video. And as a matter of fact, this video, this case was given to MUFON. This person here, what they did is they submitted the case to MUFON with photos that they had extracted from the video and the full video. And quite frankly, what MUFON has done is they classified this case as a hoax. Mm-hmm. Now, that's very interesting to me because the person that investigated the case emailed the witness, waited 10 days, didn't get any response from the witness, and then just classified it as a hoax, saying that, the possibility that the sunlight bouncing off the craft didn't correlate with the shadows on the ground. Was a lot of BS was on this report, and without even getting this video analyzed. As a matter of fact, Mark D'Antonio, he's the photo analyst with MUFON. No mention of his name. If she were to properly investigate this case, he would have been involved. There would have been, evidence that this was a fake. And quite frankly, I feel that she buried this, and that happens a lot with MUFON, I hate to say.
Why do you think this is happening? So am I detecting some dissension within the ranks at MUFON?
Well, I really don't know. I hope... I think that a lot of these investigators, and including myself, I don't know it all. I've got 1,100 investigations, and quite frankly, most times, you're assuming that the witness actually did see a UFO. They did see these lights in the sky, and it would be very easy for me to call them liars and say that this is a hoax and this could not happen. But that's what's happening sometimes with a lot of cases that come across the boards there at MUFON, that a lot of these investigators are guessing what the witness saw, even though there's evidence that, as a matter of fact, one case that I can remember, I investigate these cases. Anytime a case comes up, when I have the time, if it says hoax or it says IFO, identified flying objects, they're the cases I look at. And I'd look to see if the investigators have done their job. And quite frankly, many, many times they have not. And I could see that the investigator is guessing that, the witness probably saw the ISS flying over, or the witness probably saw a high-flying military aircraft in the sky, or I guess the witness may have seen. It's guessing. And, I approach these cases from witnesses believing them. Of course, there's going to be hoaxes every once in a while.
But let me ask you something here.
Very low percentage of hoaxes.
Let me ask you something. We've got to take a commercial break here for the news. As a former police investigator, when we would go into an investigation, we would go in with an open mind. We wouldn't go into an investigation with a supposition of this person or that person did it. We would have to get the evidence to prove that this person did it. And by going in with a supposition that John Doe is a suspect, unless there's extenuating circumstantial evidence to lead the investigation that way, wouldn't that be tainting the investigation going in with a supposition? Think about that. We've got to take our break, and Exonation Ken Pfeifer is our special guest. WorldUFOPhotos.org, WorldUFOPhotosandNews.org, and, Ken Pfeifer Discoveries.com. This is the X Zone. I am Ralph McConnell. Ken Pfeifer and I return on the other side of this break after the news. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. Ken Pfeifer is our special guest. Now, Ken is the state director for the state of Vermont and Rhode Island, plus the assistant state director for MUFON, New Jersey. Ken is also the MUFON International Director for Portugal, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Israel, China, Mongolia, and Brazil. Now, Ken, before we went to the news, we were talking about, how you go in believing the witness who files the UFO report. And it seems that you disagree with some of the findings of other investigators. And I brought up a point that I caught on that I found rather strange when you said you go in believing the witness or the sighting itself. Doesn't that mean that you're going in with a tainted view of the investigation? And as an investigator, shouldn't you be neutral?
Well, yes. What I really meant to say,
Okay.
what I said, I'll stand by. But on top of that, we have more to gain by going into an investigation and believing a witness than automatically going into an investigation and not believing a witness because we feel that these things don't exist.
But wait a minute. Hold on
like
here.
I said, we have more to gain by
Ken, just hold on.
believing the witness statement.
Ken, hold on here.
Yeah.
Are you saying that MUFON goes into an investigation believing that UFOs don't exist?
I think some of them do.
All right, but that's not MUFON standard, or else
No.
it wouldn't make sense that
it's not
MUFON
MUFON
exists.
standard for sure. I mean, MUFON is a great organization. I mean, they have case files galore. They've been doing this for years.
Sure.
But then again, we do get some debunkers in there, and we do get some people in there who, if you give them 20 cases to investigate, 19 of them are identified flying objects.
Okay,
And
what is the procedure that is followed with MUFON when somebody files a report? For example, somebody listening tonight goes to go and have a coffee, they look up in the sky, they see something that they believe is an unknown flying object. They go to the MUFON website and they file a report online. What happens when that report is filed? What is the procedures followed?
Well, what it boils down to is of course, whatever state it came from, let's say it came from New Jersey.
Right.
Then that case file would be sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I would either take on the case myself or I would assign it to the many investigators we have in New Jersey and let them investigate it. Or if the case come from Canada, we would send it to the MUFON would send it to the director of Canada there, and he would either investigate it or divvy it out to whatever investigators he has in Canada. So that's the first step. And next, when we get the report, what we do is we're hoping for a phone number. First of all, we 9 times out of 10 we do get email addresses, we do get phone numbers, and the first thing we do is try to contact the witness by phone. And when we do get a witness on the phone, we basically we go over all of the questions that were on the form that he filled out. Make sure he filled in all the questions and crossed the T's, dotted the I's, and made sure we get all the information. And then of course we asked him what he saw and if there was any additional information that maybe he forgot about and remembered. We jot that down and add that to the witness statement. And at that point in time, we tell the witness, I tell the witness, hey, if I find out exactly what this was, I'll be sure to give you a call back and let you know. Mm-hmm. And what we do at that point is, it depends on what the witness saw. Now, if a witness saw a light at nighttime just flying across the sky, chances are it's probably a satellite. But I'm not going to guess at that. I'm going to go to the satellite websites. N2YO is a good one. There's many websites we go to that tracks these satellites that can give us almost an exact time as to where this satellite flew over and when. But then again, if someone reports in the sky that this light up there in the atmosphere was moving in a zigzag direction, or was doing loops and crisscrosses and everything else, then we know that's not a satellite. Sure. So that alleviates even going to a satellite website to prove this. And how can we really say what this was? Now, in a case like that, after talking to the witness, feeling if he's credible, what he does, is he retired? Was he in the military? Was he a policeman? You kind of get a feel as to witness credibility, and you look at his statements, and you look at the times, exact times, and if a witness is very detailed, to what he put on the form, that then in a case like that, I could only say that this is an unknown. But we're not allowed to say alien craft or identify flying object, right, or IFO is identify flying object. That could be an airplane, that could be anything. But
sure.
We don't have any designation for the real thing. So the only thing that we could do is put down unknown, and all of these cases that are questionable, they all get classified as unknown.
Okay, but earlier, I when we were talking, you were saying that there are some investigators who, and you used the number out of 20 files, they would classify 19 of these sightings as IFOs. Is this common?
I wouldn't want to say common, but there are that to me that sends up red flags. If I was an investigator, if I was a MUFON investigator who investigated cases that our investigators investigated, then I would be looking at these cases. I would be looking, as a matter of fact, years ago, we had an investigator from New Jersey, and this person came on board, and she seemed to be very, very knowledgeable and very eager to want to investigate sightings, and that was the case with her. 20 cases investigated, and 19 of them are identified flying objects. So I started looking into her cases and realized that I don't even think this person is really investigating anything. She's basically reading the witness statement, and she's guessing that the witness saw a plane, the witness saw a meteor, saw a satellite in the sky, And at that point, as a matter of fact, what I did is I took over her cases and started to investigate them myself, called a witness, and come to find out that many witnesses that she claimed she called, no one was ever contacted. So, I felt that she was not doing her job, or the job she was doing was very poor. So eventually she was basically released from MUFON.
Now, was she one of your investigators, one of the investigators under your jurisdiction as a state director?
Well, back then I was only just a state section director, but George Fowler from almost day one asked me to assign the cases, and that's what I've been doing since 2006, 2007 is taking care of all that kind of business of assigning investigators and things like that.
So this lady was one of your investigators that you reinvestigated her cases because, as I understand it, as the senior investigator responsible for other investigators, you found the investigation to be inadequate.
Yes.
Who trained her?
Well, nobody really trained you. They're supposed to be getting all this training from MUFON. Of course, a lot of things have changed in MUFON.
I see.
Essentially, back then, this was, 2008, 2009, MUFON didn't have a whole lot of training criteria as they do today.
Yeah.
MUFON has the MUFON University, and you go here to learn this and that, and it's very detailed and it's really an incredible system that MUFON has set up. But they should have done this 20 years ago.
Well, another thing we have to take into consideration is that all of the investigators and everyone at MUFON is a volunteer.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they pay for everything out of their pockets, so...
Yeah, it's trying to find a good investigator who really is to my level, that really believes in these things and know that they exist and want to know the truth. But they're hard to find. Everybody wants to be an investigator, but when the time comes down to investigate, I would say more than half of them won't even make that first phone call to a witness to ask them questions. I guess they're scared. I guess they feel this wasn't what they signed up for. But I would say 99% of our investigations are done over the phone.
In my day of police work, investigations were done by door knocking.
Of course.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, stand
again,
by.
Going back to we're volunteers, and we're not getting paid to travel 40 miles so someone can point up in the sky and say, yeah, that's where it was.
All right, Ken, stand by, buddy. We've got to take our final break here. X-Zone Nation, Ken Pfeiffer's our guest this hour. And here's a couple of sites for Ken. WorldUFOPhotos.org, WorldUFOPhotosAndNews.org, and KenPfeifferDiscoveries.com. We'll be back as we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, on the other side of this break. I'll be back.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, The 70-Year Cover-Up Exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hides' life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Exonation, Ken Pfeifer is our guest this hour, and as I've been saying, he is the state director for MUFON for the state of Vermont and Rhode Island, plus the assistant director for MUFON New Jersey. He's also the international director of MUFON for Portugal, Iraq, Iran, Jordan, Israel, China, Mongolia, and Brazil. Ken, how did you become an international director, and how are the investigations that are given to you as the international director for these other countries? How are they investigated, and how do you monitor the investigations so far away?
Well, essentially, I've with the work I do, I'm usually busy. I do a lot of UFO stuff, and I get bored sometimes, so I started looking into the international cases. And this was years ago now, and I come to find out that very, very little of these international cases were being investigated at all. So I started to inquire, and I started to ask around, and they finally started to assign cases to different people, and they assigned some cases to me, and I did I closed many cases out. The only problem with these old cases are The email addresses, well, forget about phone calls because I'm not going to call Turkey. But, you know, we do these investigations through the email.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually give the witness 3 or 4 tries. I email the witness 3 or 4 times. If they haven't gotten back to me, then I can assume that, you know, either they don't want to talk to me or the email address is bad or something. So I just write the case off as information only because there's really nothing we can do with it. But the people that we do talk to, we go through the same process by email. It's a lot harder, and it's a lengthy process sometimes of you know, asking additional questions and making sure they fill out their address, locations, and phone numbers and emails and you know, their history, their education, when were they born, what do they do now, their health questions, things like that most of these people don't answer, so we have to get back to them and you know, ask them in the email to fill out this information so we can at least report, we can fill out the form that they started to fill out. And it's the same process of you know, we have different websites that we go to. We also go to different UFO organizations, like UFO Reporting Center, Peter Davenport. He's got a very good database. We go to different websites to see if any sightings were reported in that country, you know, around that date. So we try to correlate some of these cases, and 9 times out of 10, we basically come up with, you know, these cases are classified as unknown because we don't know. Like I said, I don't want to guess.
Sure.
What this witness saw. But the only bad part about that was, you know, a lot of these cases went on for so long. They finally gave me Iran and Iraq, and most of the cases were from our soldiers who were on the front lines in Iraq, and some of these sightings are just incredible, things that they saw. Of course, all these soldiers know what drones look like, and they know what missiles look like, but, you know, I mean, these are actual flying saucers that a lot of these soldiers claim to have seen. And but the only problem again is a lot of time these phone numbers and emails they don't exist anymore. So it's very rare. It's very rare that we can ever really contact these soldiers that were on the front line reporting all these things. So, but we're getting called out with the international. We've closed out, I personally have closed out a couple hundred of them myself. Most of them were because I couldn't contact the witness, so we had to close them out. But I do my due diligence and try to contact the witness by email 3 times. But we're starting to get caught up finally. It might take us another year, I think, to get finally caught up. And there's volunteers like myself that are actively helping MUFON, you know, find out the truth about these cases. So it's fun to do. I live for this stuff.
Do the descriptions of these unknown craft match the description of the crafts that are sighted in the U.S. and over Canada, or do different countries have different craft that are being reported to you?
No, they're basically all the same triangles. You know, well, we have some cases going back 30, 40 years that are triangle cases, and you know, if this, I doubt if we had experimental triangle craft back then 40 years ago, but you know, this has proved to me that these things have been around for quite a long time. But no, everything is basically the same. There's nothing different about what they're seeing over in Europe than what we're seeing here in the States.
What was your take on the storming of Area 51?
That was a joke. I was mad at Jesse Ventura. He did a series. I don't know if you remember.
I sure do. Yeah.
Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe longer than that. Where he did some pretty good investigative things on Plum Island and a lot of different. It was a good series, and he went to Area 51 and he was afraid to step over the line there in Area 51. And I emailed him, and I emailed a lot of people and told them, you guys bring down a camera crew, you bring down reporters, you guarantee to bail me out of jail, I'll step over the line at Area 51 just to see what's going to happen. and nobody took me up on it.
But why would you want to break the law?
Well, stepping over a line is not breaking the law.
It's trespassing.
Sometimes you got to do something, things to get results, and I just think it would be one hell of an experience to do it.
But trespassing is trespassing. Trespassing is breaking the law. So you would break the law for what? You're not going to see anything. You're not going to learn anything. So why would you want to do that? Doesn't that put the jeopardy and the credibility of other investigators under the public microscope?
But then again, I think it's given these investigators a little kick in the ass, telling them that it can be done. You got to stand out on that ledge a little bit to find out the truth. You got to be a little bit daring. You got to be a little bit crazy. You got to be different than 99% of all the people to try to get to the truth.
But that's not how a real investigator gets to the truth. And a real investigator doesn't break the rules. A real investigator doesn't break the law.
Yeah, but then again, with the UFO community, if you want to put it like that, then a real investigator really doesn't get that much done.
Then they're not real investigators, are they?
I don't know. You could be right. I'm not really sure. That's just my theory. If you want to, if you want to get something done, sometimes you got to stick your neck out and to
I agree
either good
that
or bad results, but get results.
I agree you stick your neck out, but I totally disagree with breaking the law. If the sign says private property, stay off. You stay off.
But then again, I think there's a little city in Arkansas that says spitting on the sidewalk will get you thrown in jail. So, some of these laws I know why they're there. But
a government installation is a government installation. You're not breaking a municipal law. You're breaking a federal law.
But it would be fun.
Have you ever been arrested?
No, never.
So why would you want to taint your reputation just to grandstand a UFO investigation?
Quite frankly, Bob, I really don't give a crap anymore.
Why, Ken? You're a hardworking man, and to hear you say that you don't give a crap anymore, that worries me.
Well, I'm just tired of all these investigations and everything else. Basically, just going nowhere. They sometimes I wonder why I even do this. Am I doing any good? I really can't answer that question. If I'm doing any good by doing what I do.
Man, Ken, I'm sorry to hear that you sound so despondent, so negative about it. Because usually you're so upbeat. You're so by the book kind of guy.
Yeah, well, a lot of things have happened with MUFON that like I said, I love the organization, and at least they're trying to do something, but the politics in MUFON are staggering, and there's just a lot of things that MUFON has done in the past that I just haven't agreed for. Like Roger Marsh. I don't know if you know Roger Marsh.
No, I don't, no.
Yeah, well, he was with them forever, was a journalist and wrote a book, and Roger did everything, and just one day they let him go, and he was pretty despondent about that. But if you get a chance, Google Roger Marsh, Roger Marsh, MUFON, and he was one of the top kicks there at MUFON, and they MUFON, like I said, I love them, but they've just done a lot of things that, quite frankly, I cannot agree with them.
Ken, as time goes by so fast, whenever I'm talking to you, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Always good talking to you. And Ken, let's talk again, because like I said, I'm worried about you talking the way you're talking. And have you thought? No, we'll talk again, Ken. We'll talk again.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. You're a good friend there, Rob, and I it's an honor to be on the X Zone, that's for sure. And I just appreciate you getting in touch with me. And we'll talk again, my friend.
All right, Ken. Take care of yourself. Okay, buddy?
Okay. Have a good weekend. Holidays, too.
You too. Merry Christmas, Kenny.
Okay, you too.
Exonation. Ken Pfeifer has been my guest for this hour, and we'll be posting all the websites on how you can get a hold of Ken on his bio that we're going to be posting. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X Zone continues right here from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada.